Robert, and this is my change project. I really wanted to focus on college cooking because when I first got here, it was a really hard struggle for me, and in all honesty, I think it would benefit almost everyone if they figured out how to cook basic necessities. When it comes to meal prep, first things first is understanding nutrition. Nutrition revolves around the food that we eat and how it impacts our bodies. It is pretty much fuel for everything that we do. It helps us wake up in the morning, helps us with our digestion, and it's just the basic necessity of life. We're always going to need to eat food. So the faster that college students learn how to cook, the better. Because in this economy, I don't think anyone can afford eating out like almost every day. When we release food, when we eat food, our brain releases dopamine, which is a really healthy chemical in our brain, which usually means that food equals good, in my opinion. First, we're going to talk about food groups. The concept is that food in the Western media is categorized in 5 distinct food groups, such as grains, fruits, vegetables, protein, and dairy. These groups provide us with varying amounts of nutrition that our body needs. Grain supplies with energy, and fruits and vegetables offer vitamins, and protein creates muscle development. Maintaining a balanced diet involves consuming a variety of foods from these groups to ensure we obtain all essential nutrients. It is like constructing a plate with a diverse array of flavors and nutritional components. So what really matters, in my opinion, is the nutrients that you should have in your dish. Studies show that when you regularly prepare a home-cooked meal, you're also more likely to make healthier choices based on those occasions when you do eat out. In other words, eating healthy food, even when you're trying to make it at home, can become a habit. Like, if you go outside, you look at the menu, you're not gonna get the greasy burger. You might try like something new with like grilled chicken sandwich, because you're more understanding of what you're putting in your body. That quote was from Gene Segal, 2023. Within these foods, we find nutrients, the essential building blocks of our body. There are macronutrients, including carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which provide substantial energy. Additionally, there are micronutrients, such as vitamins, minerals, which functions as indispensable aids in maintaining our health. Let's not overlook the significance of water. It also serves as the ultimate beverage for our body, aiding in digestion, promoting healthy skin, and just overall enhancing our health. Another thing about college cooking that really affects me personally is economics. If you can find the right places to buy your own produce, such as Aldi, personally I like going to the farmer's market because I know there's not really anything processed or extra inside of what I'm eating. I know it comes from a pretty solid source. According to a study from the University of Washington School of Public Health, it is found that frequent home cooks spend about $60 per month less on food than those who eat out more often. If you think about it this way, say if you spend $20 at minimum per day eating lunch and dinner, that's $280 out of every 2 weeks, and that's $280 out of a regular paycheck. That's not healthy or sustainable. North Shore University recommends that to help you with these meal prep is that you should cook particularly in large batches to help you save time and energy. You could pretty much just take containers and just freeze them, or you just put them in the fridge for up to 3 days. And now we're gonna get to the fun part. I'm gonna show you how to make teriyaki chicken. So first things first, I'm gonna grab one of these Ziploc bags. Cheap, not really that sustainable, I'm not gonna lie, but they'll do the job. Second is our protein. protein right here. Move us now. Okay. Put it down at a more healthy spot. So usually for my cooking, I have green onions, chicken of course, sesame seeds, ginger paste, garlic paste, and teriyaki sauce. So first we're going to learn how to process the chicken. Personally, I like to take one of these. I personally like chicken thighs because they are the most flavorful part in the body, in my opinion. And I could just peel the skin, and I could save that for chicken chips. I could add that as a flavor bonus, or anything else. Where's the sharp knife? Now, the important part here is that you see this bone. That's what we're gonna take out. So you want to make an incision on the middle part, on top of the bone. And cut around the bone. Cut under the bone now. The meat that I bought was also $8. So, and this is enough chicken to feed me for at least 4 days. Pretty good price if you ask me. And with the other ingredients, that will last me even longer. Now, you could technically throw this away. However, personally, I like to save mine, and I put these in a side of a freezer bag, and I will essentially just use them for chicken stock whenever I get the chance, or whenever I build up a healthy amount of chicken. So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do a little faster now. So first off, peel the skin. Cut the chicken, make a minor incision on the top of the bone, and then now you could start peeling away around the bone. Scoop under, over here, and this part's tricky because you don't ever want to stab yourself. Right now I have my dog begging. But usually 2 is gonna only pretty much hold me to where I'm okay, with a full happy belly. 2 is gonna hold me. One thing to remember is that the most dangerous object inside of a kitchen is not the stove, it's not the microwave, it's not the pot of boiling water, or the fryers at the very least, is a dull knife. You never want to use a dull knife. That is actually one of the biggest ways people cut themselves, is because the knife slips, and oh no, I'm losing a finger. feel for any cartilage. See, there's a bit of cartilage right there, and I'm just gonna cut that out with my knife. Now, I'm not gonna say that we need measurements, because of course we always need measurements. But personally for me, since it's a marinade, you don't really need specific measurements, just because you are already, you're just essentially just covering it so you can marinate juices. Drew, can you do me a favor? Can you go upstairs? The recipe book should be upstairs. It's on the printer. Chicken skin that we're gonna fry up and make a little juicy snack for us later. Alright, I'm gonna wash my hands before I touch anything else. This teriyaki recipe is essentially from my own design. However, we're going to be exploring 2 other recipes that that I essentially do not. I do have the recollection of making them, but I do not have the certain measurements that I can show you guys. Another quick tip is that I personally like putting my green onions inside of a mason jar. I can just do that, and you're going to fill it up to the roots where the white part is. Essentially this part. And then if the water gets too oniony, you can just throw out the water and just redo it. And essentially that gives you infinite amount of green onions, because it's going to essentially keep growing over and over again. Now, I'm going to get my student, and I'm going to teach him how to pour things. I'm going to show him how to do it. So, come here. So, I'm going to pour it enough where it gets everywhere. So, because essentially what we're also going to do is we're also going to remove all the air. So that might not seem like a lot, but when we remove all the air, it's going to encompass everything. And then we're going to put the ginger paste. And ginger is a really good vegetable because it is a root vegetable, has a lot of vitamins, and can really help clean congestion. So I like doing a couple squirts. Get the garlic. And there's not really much of a measurement here, but I would say 1 teaspoon is a good enough measurement. I'm going to use more than 1 teaspoon because in my opinion, garlic is you can never get enough garlic. Unless you're allergic to garlic, then that's death.
Smells amazing.
Thank you. And then we're gonna sprinkle some sesame seeds in there. See? And then we're going to, here's my next ingredient. We're gonna cut up our green onions. So I'm gonna take a pair of scissors. Take a pair of scissors. We're going to cut it at above the white right here. And this part right here, you can just shove back inside the bottle and it will regrow in just a few weeks. We're going to wash this because it's been in a grocery store. You don't know who's been touching it. All the dirt, all the muck that's been in there. Yeah. When I'm cutting with a claw formation, because if you cut with your fingers out, you have a risk of just amputating them. maybe if I figure out how to edit.
Something we'll fix it in post.
Something. Hopefully. If I don't figure out how to edit, I'm giving pretty good tips, just from what I've learned. You're gonna squish all that out, and we're gonna let this marinate for about an hour, or at least 45 minutes. You want to get the juices in there, and we're gonna put this in the fridge. Now, while that's marinating, you want to focus on the other dishes. So this process usually only takes about 5 minutes. I'm going to be cooking rice. So we're going to cook about 2 cups. And I have a rice cooker, but not a lot of people actually do have rice cookers, which is fair. They're only $30 at Walmart, and they're pretty easy. But I kind of pride myself in being able to cook rice from the pot because it's just way better. There we go. So come here, my student. So when we wash rice, you want to use cold rice. What rice basically is what we're rinsing out is the starch. So you see all the cloudy water? We're going to try to wash that until it is clear. Personally, I like using a strainer. It makes everything super easy. What you want to do is that you pretty much just want to pour everything out like just with the water like that. Essentially what Drew's going to be doing is swishing the rice around until it fills up to a little point, and he's going to be pouring it out again like this. And then he's going to do it again, swish it around until it pours up again, until the water turns clear. Okay, you want to do it? Drew, before this, did you ever wash your rice?
Not often. Just ever. Hasn't killed me yet, but
It's not going to kill you, but
what exactly does it help do? How does it change the flavor?
So, what the starch basically does, it makes the rice all sticky. I mean, not sticky, but it makes it all mush. The same thing with potatoes. You want to drain out the starch from potatoes to make it more crispy. Same thing with rice is that you want to drain out the rice so you can have a more pronounced rice. You know what I mean?
But don't you want it to clump together?
No, it's going to clump together on its own. You just don't need to clump it together like all the time. And this is a pretty tedious process, I'm not gonna lie, because it essentially takes about like eight rounds of like washing rice over and over again until it's clear.
So would you say it's best to do this, like ideally, you cook all of your rice, or not cook it, you strain it all at once, and then you just save it?
No, because that would lead to rice fermentation, which is essentially alcohol. So that's a good question. Okay, we're almost to that point. The water's getting clearer. This should only take one more. And there's 2 ways to basically rinse rice. You can either rinse it with very little water, which is what he's doing right now. And he has to do it very rough, very fast, because that makes the water, or makes the rice rinse each other, pretty much. Alright, that's it. And drain. That's perfect. See, it's all clear now. You can see the kernels of individuality. Okay. I'm gonna pour it out a little bit just because I don't need that much water. Because if you put too much water, it gets mushy. If you put too little water, the rice gets burned. The perfect way to measure water, and this is something that my grandpa's taught me, is that, well, technically it was my dad. You want to put your middle finger, look for your middle finger ridge line, and use that to measure. At least that's 2 centimeters from the water into your finger. So right there, I need to remove a little bit of the water. And we're gonna let that get to a boil, and then we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna put the lid on it so it all steams up. Right now, I'm gonna end the video right here.